Okay, yeah. It should be good right now. But in the Discord, like sometimes when there's like a rain, the connection's kind of weak. So do tell me if sometimes like my voice kind of like got lost with the internet. So I will stop teaching and then wait for it to come back. Okay. Okay, so today we're using boolean to create the complex object with like more flexibility, because like if you using the like extrusion method like what we did last week, like with what we did with the bar, like the metal bar with the hole in it, that one like will be easier for you if the shape is like kind of like having a pattern, right? So it's like having the exact patterns and like kind of repeat. In that case, using the extrusion will be easier. And like if the surface kind of like flat and you don't have to like adjusting and having like a curve, too much curve, in that case using the extrusions will be like easier approach. But what if we want to use, like, for example, if you think of the Among Us character in 3D, for example, it's like it's look kind of like a capsule, right? It have a lot of curve, and those curve, like, let us create the case on. You don't have to follow this step though. I just like recreate those Among Us character real quick. This one is just like a upper part though, not the whole body. But think of it, it's like having a lot of curve, which if we need to like adjust our surface to match the curve ourselves, it would be a lot of process, right? Like the shape kind of look like this, right? These Among Us protagonists. So we're using these boolean instead, and boolean doesn't only like create like to just combine shape together, it can create the like use the different modes and also like intersect. So let's go to there first. So the logic of boolean, this one is like for both program, right? Since Maya and Blender. So you have two objects. First, you have two objects, or more than two objects. Right. You have two objects. This one is the first one, and this one is the second. Okay. And you can have like multiple of them too. So right now my object, they're kind of overlapping like this. Okay. And then I will select my object. So let's start with this one first. So I select two objects right now, and the first one that I select will be a white color wireframe, right? And this second one will be green. And if you go to the modeling toolkits again, if you forgot where it is, it's like the one with the kind of like the hammers and the cubes here. And you can also go to the boolean by going to the mesh menu on the top and then booleans, and there will be union, difference, and intersects here. Intersection. So let's capture. So I will put the screenshots in the classroom, so no classroom, the Discord, so you guys can see it better. Oh, this one is a resource, it's not the such. Okay. So when you go to the modeling toolkit under the mesh like drop down here, it will say the booleans here. And once you click on it, you can see that there is like the slider for the operations. Here is union, the first one, difference and intersection. So union, like just the name, right, is like combine two objects together. And the difference is the first object minus the second object. So the first one that you selected will be the main. Okay, so if I select the different operations, there will be the second object will be like reducted out of the first object. Here it's the difference, and the intersections will be only part that like in those two objects overlapped, and it will include the inner part as well. So and when you doing the booleans here, you can see that first this is like the first state, right? So let's delete this one. Okay, so you can see it clearly. So this is my first object, and I select this one and this one, right? And then doing the boolean, you can see that after I click on union, the inner side will be delete and the whole object will be unified, so it will be the same surface right now. So that's how we use, and you can see that the objects will be automatically combined as well. It will be unified as a one object, and you can do like more than as one, so it can be a multiple object. It's just like more than two. Yeah. Two and more than two object can be used, and the object can be like one object but having like a multiple surface as well. So you can combine these first, right? For example, if you want to create like so I will show you like the magic of the booleans and the pro and con of it like after that, and why we need to be careful when we're using it. But once you like know how you have to deal with these like topology after using the booleans, it will be like your friends. It will be a powerful tool for you. So you can combine these first and then doing the boolean later, or you can click one by one as well, so it doesn't matter. You can combine them. And you can see that when you select these classifications, if you select the normal, it will be only these kind of surface part that left. It won't have the depth for the result object here. So in case you want to, I would say that if you want to have like something like only the surface and you want to adjust the thickness a bit later, like okay, I want to, you know that you want to like extrude them afterwards, then in that case you might want to use the classifications of normal. And then if you want to, for example, you create something that like you want to adjust the depth later, you want to use the depth of the object that you inserted into it, then you use the age classification instead. There's a difference, okay, age and normal. this inner side will be delete and only left this one, which is very clean, and it will be easier for you to like extrude them later comparing to having like this, right? In case you want to like extrude this one out, then you have to delete this one and deal with it later, right? But if you like, okay, I want doing anything with it, I want the like thickness of these geometries, I put them in, then you can use the age classifications. So this is the boolean, but you can see the problem here is these dots, right? These vertices. You can see that right now it will be a lot of vertex here that we need to connect, right? Because if we're leaving it like this, it will be the end gone, right? Which right now might not be a problem because we're doing the props, right? If you're doing like character, it will be the problem for almost like for sure if you're doing like in Maya, because like when you blend, if you're doing the character that needs to like, for example, blend their joint, then these and gone one not gonna react very well with like the blending. It will be like distorted and like destroy your rigs. But for the prop that is like static mesh, in this case, when you are in Maya, these n-gon might not like do anything with your model, but once you import it into Substance, sometimes it will show the error that like your mesh has the n-gon and something that. And in you, I'm not sure about the Unity, but for Unreal as well, it will show like the error sometimes, and your mesh, the display will be sometimes like looking a little bit weird, and sometimes you don't know why, and then you discover later that it's because like they has an n-gon with your model stuff. So this one we want to avoid, right? And also the other big con of having these n-gon is when you like, okay, you have this model, right? And okay, your games like release, and then 10 years later they want to doing like a HD remaster, for example, and your like company kind of like, hey, can you like making the model like look more high def, and for example, and if you're having the model that like, okay, very low poly, for example, I will create like a barrel, for example, real quick. Okay, so you, what the artists have to do is like they need to go back to every prop they made and then like make everything like HD, right? In wait, wow, okay, object C. Okay, example, this like a bin, like I have this object, a very low poly, not that low, but like, low. And like 10 years later, my like producer tell me like, okay, you need to make this HD, and normally what we do is like we need a more like resolution version of this object, then we just doing the smooth, right? Smooth it, and okay, everything still look good, and it's like curvier. You got like thing that look more realistic by clicking smooth. But these subdivisions operations of smoothing, it won't react like very well when you have like these n-gon, for example, comparing to let's create this one. this one, right? And then you got this one. So this one I will do in the boolean different example. And then this one I will do the smooth of these two. I think I should, like, to be fair, I will create a similar shape. Okay. Sure. Okay, so it might look not that similar, but different. Okay. Oh, this one is like too perfect because I boolean it too good. Let's rotate it a little bit. Okay, so if you boolean it not that well, for example, you boolean it like this. Okay. This. You can see that this one will be okay. Let's and when you like doing the and you still want to have a shape, you need to do the bevel, right? So let's bevel this inside, bevel them. Again, you don't have to follow this step though, just the demo. 1, 2. And right now you can start to see the con that I cannot select the whole edge loop by click. I need to do it by hand. Okay, so if I close these two look completely fine, right? Then let's ignore like the lower part. That's like my mistake. But you can see like the inner sides kind of look pretty bad, right? And that's why we need to be careful when you're doing the boolean. But if I didn't like rotate it, if I boolean them with like a plan, for example, I already planned it that when I'm boolean it, the topology will be perfect because like it's all connect, right? This one and this one, the lines, they're like perfectly match. And I doing the in this case, let's see if like they automatically merge. I think it's supposed to. No. Okay. So we still need to fix it. But yeah, that's why we need to be careful about when you're doing the boolean. And this is what will be up next, is how you can fix the topology once you're doing the boolean. So let's start. Okay, let's doing it like this, and I will use like 8 again because like it's like a minimum number of And the reason I use 8 is like because when you're doing a model, if you want it to have like more resolutions, it can be done super easy by clicking the smooth button, right? But if you want to reduce the resolutions, that one needs to be done by hands. Like the retopology can help sometimes, but the retopology process, since it's like using the AI, right? And then what they do, they try to like average all of your like areas of your model. For example, I will do the auto retopology for you, and this one I think if you use like kind of ZBrush program, the result will be similar. So okay, so poly. So in case you guys might like wonder, well, why can't we just use the is it right? Poly rematch. Okay. And then you don't need to do this though, like just poly retopo. So this is what like the retopology do with your object. So you can see that in order to get like a clean topology and also like contain kind of similar shapes, it will be cost a lot more resources than just starting from the lowest resolutions you can get and then just adding the subdivisions and smooth them over and over. So it's, and also like if you start with the low poly like edge side cylinder, right, it's easier for you to control and like doing the model and then connecting edge, because like it's like less thing you need to concern, right, because like it doesn't have like much side with it. So okay, so let's first I will doing the boolean by going to union it. So what I want is like something kind of similar to the thing that like the fire extinguish station thing, like the fire hydrants, I think. Yeah, that one. So like this. And you can see that right now their topo is like kind of perfect, right, because like I matched the edges together. You can see that when I doing the boolean. Let's do it again slowly. So let's open it. So when I'm doing the booleans, I already planned it like, okay, I have this one 8 sides and this one also 8 sides, and when they got boolean, this line will be connect to this line, this line will be connect to this line, and this line as well. So that's why when doing the boolean, the topology, I got the clean topology down a bit. But what if it can be done? What if it's like the shape kind of like different and you can't just like rotate them like this? Okay. What if it's like smaller? So what if it's smaller? So right now, since the side doesn't match, so once I doing the booleans, it won't be like perfect shape like this, right? Because like right now, if you've already forget like the way you can click on toggle the smooth preview is pressing 3 and you can snap back to 1. Smooth preview is like the result once you like smooth your object, and since when smoothing it tends to like make a curve, and then when you're using these smooth preview, it can show that if your topology doesn't connect, and like is there any edges you didn't like connect them together, like is there any edge or vertices that's like detaches from each other. Okay, so again, if we want to do something like smaller, for example this one, right now if I'm doing the boolean, it won't match, right? Boolean union, and you can see that the topology kind of pretty ugly, I would say, right now. So yeah, if I like using this one as a prop, and then 10 years later I need to do the higher resolution of it, I cannot just click smooth and then done with it, right? I need to fix the mesh that I made like 10 years ago. So that's the reason we need to plan before doing the boolean. So we can do it by, okay, so for example this is the result I want. Then before we boolean, we can add some subdivisions to our base, right, and make it match with our model here. So I will this one. So I use these multi-cuts here, multi-cuts tool. Okay, multi-cut, it will be, if you more familiar with using the shelf on the top, on the shelf it will be the first one on the like second sections from the right hand side. I was so multi-cut, and you can grab it in the modeling toolkits as well. Okay, so modeling toolkit, it will be in the tool sections here, multi-cut. So grab it, and now when you grab it, you can hold control once you hover your mouse over these object, and it will show these yellow highlight, yellowish orange highlight here, that okay, you have an edge loop here, and it will create a line for, yeah, and this is another pro for having like quad face, like, or the face that has only 4 sides, or triangle. Sometimes triangle is still okay, because like if you have like a quad surface, they can detect like these edge loop for you, and it will be easier for you to doing the operations and modeling, because it's okay. So start, my plan is to adding the edge on the vertical line to make them match with these points here. Okay, so first I add it here, the one in the middle. Okay, I add them in the middle, so first one, right? And then if you hover your mouse on the vertical line, it will create a horizontal line if you like control. So for example, if like I'm hover my mouse over like the horizontal line, it will create like the loop on the vertical aspect here. So okay, I will create this one like slightly above, like this one as well. Just make Good. So it can be done like this. And you don't have to like make it like completely match. It can be like a little bit lower, for example this one, and let's see like what will happen if like we have it not matched like this. Like what if I let's see it clearly, maybe something like this. Okay, and then let's see, doing the boolean, I'm union it. And right now it start to look better, right? But still this one is a little bit weird. You can see that. And what we can do is we can fix it by, you can use this tracket belt here, and then you can drag it there. Or you can drag it there. So this one is better, I think. So tracket belt again is the second one here, and this one should be what you're doing, it will be a little bit different from this, but it will be similar process. You're doing like kind of like have like 4 cylinder, not only 2. But this one just like sample. Okay, so using these tracket belts, and then to make sure like when you're sending the tools, double click on it and click on target, so it will be merged to your target, not the center, and then go there and there. And you can see that right now it's like 4, right? No, not 4, like it's 5, and you need to have more line here again, so you don't have to like concerned about the pattern that much. Like you can like adding it more and more, like so you can like doing it along. So if it's like not enough, then you can like add it more, or you can add it here, right? And then match it with that. Okay, you can merge it there. So this work as well. Then it's like 4. Right, first it's 5, and then right now it's 4. Or you can just drag it up like this. So it depends on whatever you approach, right? And this one. And for the you're doing today, I will do it for you again as well. But this right now I only explain like the logic of it, so don't worry. And so it can be done like a lot of way. And let's see the smooth right now. You can see that right now there is like 2 dots here that it's like too close from each other, but actually it's not like merged yet. So what we do is just we merge them. So it can be done like auto way, but the logic is, if whatever the shape you're doing, the process will be something similar to this. So you boolean it. Before you boolean, you're trying to make your object like match and plan it beforehand as much as possible. And after you boolean, then you're trying to like match the topology together. So let's try the different shapes. So okay. Again, you already forgot how you rotate with like a snap ratio. Then you hold J when you rotate, and then we snap with every 15 like degree. You can see right now what I need to do. I want to trying to match the line I have here with these here, so it can be like slightly down like this, a little bit lower. So this is like the closest that I can get. Then just for the cosmetic. Okay, so I'm doing the boolean. Union and extrude. You can see that we still have these topologies here, right? That is not connect, and once I doing the smooth, it will be pretty ugly here. So what I did is use the multi-cuts, you can use the tracked wheel. For example, this one, I will use a tracked wheel to go there, go there. And for this one, let's create when you're working, actually you can use a mirror like the symmetry, but this one just a demo. So something like this. So it would look better, right? But still, this one's still like triangle. If I doing the character, maybe I avoid doing it. And once I press 3, you can see that there's still some edges that not connect, and then I can these and these. But again, if I'm like doing the character that need to move, I will avoid this triangle. Maybe like so then it's not anymore. Can be done like this also, like what if it's the object that adjust this to for this one, the thing is, we'll just 4 is fine. Oh. Okay, this one, different. This one, before if you want to delete this one, what you need to do first is go to the file, edit and delete history first. It should be fine to delete it right now. But don't worry, I won't let you guys do this. I just like, okay, for example, this one, like I want to connect these, then maybe I will add more line here, right, to connect them like this. So the logic is, yeah, just kind of like that. You trying to match them. This one can be like that. So you can check by press 3, right, and then come back and check. Okay, this one is like, you can merge them. And this one. You can compare like this one with the one beside it. And then since you like adding the edge by using the control, when you're doing this one is supposed to like go to around this one as well, and then you can just cut only one line to connect them. And this one, and if you cut this one, this also will go down to this one, right? Yeah, that's the boolean, and it can be like something like this as well. You have this one, and you have the sphere. I will reduce this one 8 and 8. Different. And for this one, from what I see here, if I would do it, I will connect it like this, right? And for the rest, for example this one, I will use the hagrid belt and just gonna drag them in. And for this one, and this one I will connect it like this. Then after that, I will doing the bevel or that one. And if I like smooth it, oh, forget to select this one too. Okay, bevel edge. even I like smooth it over and over, still it doesn't lose the shapes, right? Because we already bevel it and we already like trying to take off those endgone. So once we smooth it, we still got a pretty topology out of it. And comparing to like trying to moving the vertex in state using these boolean is a lot easier, right? And so yeah, so that's the booleans, and you can take a break and we come back and we'll talk about your assignment today, which I will doing the demo for you instead. But before we go, for those Blender user, let me guide you to the like how you can merge the vertices instead, so you can do the assignment. Okay, so can you open the Blender, one of you, anyone, so I can guide you to it? And let me stop